Well, greetings and good afternoon to all of you. It's 1:01 on September the 21st, 2022, and we are conducting this hearing virtually via Zoom. We're here for a public hearing on abandonment petition AB 782 to consider an application received from Benjamin and Michelle Oshman to abandon a public access easement in proximity to Bayard Boulevard in Bethesda, Maryland. My name is Michael Paylor, and I am the county executive's designated hearing officer with the county's Department of Transportation. This right-of-way abandonment hearing is conducted pursuant to section 4962F of the Montgomery County Code. And my role in the abandonment process is to receive testimony concerning the abandonment request and then develop a report and recommendation to be submitted to the county executive concerning the applicant's petition for abandonment. To do this, I will consider statements made during this hearing, written comments received within the comment period, and these comments will be accepted until October 5th, 2022 at 5 p.m. And that includes documents submitted directly to Mr. David Harris, who is a real estate specialist for Montgomery County's Department of Transportation, to support or explain a position on this particular abandonment case. My report and recommendation will then be forwarded to the county executive for consideration, and the county executive will then forward the report to the county executives, or forward the report and his recommendation to the county council. It is the county council that will decide whether to grant or deny the applicant's petition for abandonment. And for those who wish to submit written comments, please submit these comments to Mr. David Harris at Montgomery County Department of Transportation, 100 Edison Park Drive, 4th floor, Gaithersburg, Maryland, 20878. Or you may email them to david.harris@montgomerycountymd.gov by October 5, 2022. There are a few ground rules that we must cover before Mr. Harris introduces the abandonment petition in the record. First, please turn off or silence your cell phones. Second, as an issue of decorum, all participants must be given due consideration. Those seeking to offer comment following the close of the petitioner's case for abandonment are asked to be mindful of the time and limit their comments to relevant matters. If an interruption occurs, I personally will give that individual their first warning. If there is a second interruption, I will give that individual a second warning and they will be muted. And if that same individual receives a third warning, that person will be removed from the call. And if there are several people making interruptions on the call, I may close the hearing. Following my introduction of Mr. Harris and his introduction of the abandonment, the applicant will submit its case for why it believes the right-of-way should be abandoned. And after the applicant has completed its case, those who have registered to speak will be afforded the opportunity to make relevant comments. So now I introduce Mr. David Harris from Montgomery County Department of Transportation to present the case. Mr. Harris.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Paylor. My name is David Harris. I am a real estate specialist within the property acquisition section for Montgomery County Department of Transportation. My section is responsible for administering requests for the abandonment of public rights-of-way. As Mr. Paylor noted earlier, this process is governed by the county code details, the county's council's authority to abandon a public right-of-way if it finds that 1, the right-of-way is no longer needed for a public use or anticipated for future public use, or 2, the abandonment is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents near the right-of-way to be abandoned. The subject of this case is a portion of a public alley covering an approximately 301 square foot area located at 4803 Bayard Boulevard, Bethesda. The public alley was initially established in connection with a subdivision plat entitled Crestview and dated October 8th, 1920. Prior county council resolutions, namely Resolution 8-1019 dated September 14th, 1974, and Resolution 18-290 dated October 13th, 2015, approved the abandonment of other portions of this public alley located behind several adjoining lots. It is unclear from the language of those resolutions whether any further portions of the alley were to be abandoned. Since the resolution's adoption, multiple re-subdivisions have been filed to incorporate portions of the alleyway into adjacent lots, apparently without any subsequent county resolutions. The applicant asserts in its petition that the public alley no longer serves a current or future public use, and that other portions of the public alley have already been abandoned and incorporated into adjacent lots. The Office of the County Attorney has advised, through discussion with the applicant, that because the property is subject to the public access easement having been used by the public, it is legally county right-of-way, and thus creating the need for this abandonment process today. As part of the administrative process, we have provided the requisite notices to other public agencies, abutting property owners, and to the public at large. During this process, we have collected a number of exhibits that I will now introduce into the hearing record. Okay.
Go ahead, just share your screen.
All right. So first we have Exhibit A, which is for page 1 to 5, which is the applicant's abandonment petition. We received the application for abandonment petition on May 3rd, 2022. The application included deeds for the applicant's property. And next we have Exhibit B, pages 6 through 8, which is a collection of plats and plans. The first one being the boundary survey of the applicant's property, the plat titled Crestview and dated October 8th, 1920, and finally a tax map of the area. Exhibit C, page 9, is Executive Order number 191-22, which authorizes today's public hearing. Next is Exhibit B, page 10, an abandonment aerial, which shows a portion of the 15-foot wide public alley behind 4803 Bayard Boulevard to be abandoned. The next is Exhibit E, pages 11 and 12, comment solicitation emails for county agencies. The request was submitted June 20th, 2022. Exhibit F, pages 13 to 14, the comment solicitation emails for public utility companies, which was sent again on June 20th. Exhibit G, pages 15 and 16, the Washington Times ad. The advertisement ran September 1st and 8th, notifying of this public hearing. Exhibit H, pages 17 to 22, the public hearing traffic sign. Request for the sign was submitted May 27, 2022, and the sign was installed July 26, 2022. Exhibit I, pages 23 to 24, the Go Montgomery advert. Ad ran September 15th, 2022, advertising the public hearing, today's public hearing. Exhibit J, page 25, MC DOT calendar event submission. The submission was created May 27th, notifying of today's public hearing. Next is Exhibit K, page 26, the HOACA and certified mailing list. This includes all HOA members and adjoining owners to the subject property. Exhibit L, page 27, comment solicitation and public hearing notice from the HOACA. These emails were sent out May 20, 2022 with no objections. Exhibit M, pages 28 to 33, the general public notice and mailing list for certified mail recipients. Certified mail was sent out on August 10, 2022 with no objections again. Exhibit N, page 34, the Department of Transportation Development Review Committee's comment. Dated July 20th, 2022, there were no objections, but there was a note that all existing utilities, if any, along the proposed abandoned portion of the public alley of Bayard Boulevard shall remain in place with a proposed public utility easement or relocated at the applicant's expense. If the existing utility is relocated, it should be within a right-of-way proposed for the public utility easement. Next is Exhibit O, page 35. The Department of Transportation Division of Traffic, Engineering, and Operations comment, dated July 28th, 2022. They had no objection. Exhibit P, page 36. The Department of Transportation Division of Permitting Services Plan Review comment was dated July 28th and had no objections. Exhibit Q, page 37. Department of Transportation Division of Permitting Services Fire and Rescues comments dated May 23rd, 2022. They had no objection. Exhibit R, pages 38 to 41. MNCPPC's comments dated July 13th, 2022 with no objection. Exhibit S, page 42, WSSC's comments dated July 26th. They had no objection. Exhibit T, page 43, Washington Gas's comment, dated July 20th, 2022. They had no objection as well. And finally, Exhibit U, page 44, the PEPCO comments, dated July 20th, 2022. They had no objection. Thank you, Mr. Painter. I turn this hearing back in your direction.
Well, thank you, Mr. Harris. At this time, the applicant may submit its case.
Yeah, hi, this is Ben Oshman, the applicant. As part of the initial petition, I believe I put in some of the reasons, but maybe this is my chance to kind of state them, which is the alley as it stands right now really serves no public use, no purpose to the community. Large portions of it have been overgrown, and at both ends of the alley, there's really no access into it, just because of the way people have used the alley up to now. I think at one end, someone has built in a driveway just for their house. But other than that, the entire alley is, it's been repurposed as vegetable gardens and flower beds, and there's trees overgrowing it. So long story short, I don't see that it really is serving a purpose to the community the way it stands now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oshman. Is there anyone on the call who is registered to speak on this abandonment case? If so, they may do so now. I don't. Okay, are there any additional comments to be placed on record at this time?
We have no comments in the chat at this time.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, then. If there are no additional comments, I'm declaring that this hearing is closed. And as I mentioned earlier, the record will remain open until October the 5th, 2022 to accommodate an additional comment period for the record. Excuse me, not a comment period, but additional comments for the record. I apologize. Those comments, as with any other correspondence, may be addressed to Mr. David Harris at Montgomery County Department of Transportation, 100 Edison Park Drive, Gaithersburg, Maryland, 20878. And David, are you taking comments as well by email, or are you only taking them by mail-in?
I'll take them any way they reach me.
Okay, all right. And also then we'll make sure that Mr. Harris's email is provided. So that's david.harris@Montgomery County MD.gov. I think I mentioned that earlier, but I apologize. So again, those the record will remain open until October 5th, and certainly appreciate you all's participation. And thank you so much, Tiara, for putting that in the chat. And so as of now, I declare that this hearing has ended.
Yeah, thank you, sir.